Before we got to the story, I plan to give away 100 USD to whoever has the best opinion regarding this matter. So stay tuned, and I'll announce the winner in the few next videos. You only have to post your opinion on the comment below and consider to like and subscribe so that you'll not miss the announcement and many other future giveaway. Thanks, and back to the story. I'm a 28 years old female, grew up in a middle-class family with my parents and older brother Jake. Our parents always emphasized the importance of education and saving for the future. From a young age, they set up college funds for both of us, dutifully contributing what they could each month. Jake was always the golden child in our family. He was charismatic, popular, and seemed to excel at everything he tried. I, on the other hand, was more introverted and studious. While I got good grades, I never quite measured up to Jake in our parents' eyes. Despite this, I had always been close to Jake. He was my protector, my confidant, and my biggest cheerleader. When I was bullied in middle school, he was the one who stood up for me. When I doubted myself, he was there with words of encouragement. I looked up to him and trusted him completely. As we grew older, our paths diverged. I remained focused on academics, dreaming of attending a top university and pursuing a career in engineering. Jake, however, became restless. He dropped out of college after 2 years, claiming it was stifling his creativity. Our parents were disappointed, but continued to support him, believing he would find his way eventually. A month before I was set to start college, our family was hit with a bombshell. Jake announced that he had emptied not only his college fund, but mine as well. He had used the money, nearly $100,000 in total, to start his own tech startup. He promised that it would be a huge success and that he'd pay it all back and then some. I was devastated. My dreams of attending my dream university seemed to crumble before my eyes. Our parents were furious, but Jake managed to talk them down. He painted a grand picture of the success his company would achieve, how it would set our whole family up for life. Reluctantly, they agreed not to press charges, believing in Jake's vision and not wanting to ruin his future. I was forced to change my plans entirely. Instead of going to my dream school, I enrolled in a local community college. I worked 2 part-time jobs while studying full-time, often getting by on just a few hours of sleep. After 2 years, I transferred to a state university to complete my degree. It was a constant struggle, but I was determined to achieve my goals, with or without the money that had been saved for me. Meanwhile, Jake's business venture floundered. Despite his charisma and big ideas, he lacked the business acumen and work ethic to make it succeed. Within 2 years, the company had burned through all the money and was deep in debt. Jake moved back home, jobless and broke. Our parents, still viewing Jake as the golden child, allowed him to live at home rent-free. They even took out a second mortgage on their house to help pay off some of his business debts. All the while, I continued to work my way through college, receiving minimal help from my parents, who were now financially strained due to Jake's actions. Despite the challenges, I persevered. I graduated with honors, landed a great job at a reputable engineering firm, and quickly climbed the corporate ladder. Within 5 years, I had paid off my student loans and was earning a 6-figure salary. I bought my own home and was finally enjoying the fruits of my hard work. Jake's situation, however, didn't improve. He bounced between low-paying jobs, never sticking with anything for long. He continued to live with our parents, now in his late 20s, contributing little to the household. He would occasionally come up with new business ideas, but our parents, having learned their lesson, refused to fund them. Last month, I received a call from Jake. He sounded excited, saying he had a can't-miss business opportunity that would change everything. He then asked if I could loan him $50,000 to get it off the ground. When I hesitated, he brought up our shared history, reminding me of all the times he had been there for me when we were younger. I was conflicted. Part of me still cared for Jake and wanted to believe in him, but a larger part remembered the pain and struggle I had endured because of his actions. I told him I needed time to think about it. The next day, I received calls from both of my parents. They urged me to help Jake, saying that families should support each other. They talked about how Jake had been depressed lately and how this could be his chance to turn his life around. They even suggested that I owed it to Jake for all the times he had helped me when we were younger. Their words made me angry. Where was this sentiment of family support when I was struggling through college? Why was Jake's potential success more important than my actual achievements? I felt like, once again, Jake's needs were being prioritized over mine. I called Jake back and firmly told him no. I explained that while I cared for him, I couldn't risk my financial stability on his unproven business idea. I suggested that if he was serious about this venture, he should write a business plan and seek funding through proper channels. Jake didn't take it well. He accused me of being selfish and holding a grudge. He said I had changed, that success had made me cold and uncaring. He even went as far as to say that I owed him for all the times he had helped me when we were kids. Now, my family is divided. Jake isn't speaking to me. My parents are disappointed, saying I should be more generous given my success. Some extended family members have taken Jake's side, calling me selfish for not helping my brother get back on his feet. But I can't shake the feeling that I'm being manipulated. Jake has had years to get his act together, and my parents have already sacrificed so much for him. Am I really obligated to risk my financial security for someone who stole from me and has shown no real signs of change? So, Reddit, AITA for refusing to help my brother financially after he stole my college fund and squandered it on a failed business venture? Update. 1 year later, I want to thank everyone for their support and advice on my original post. Your comments gave me the strength to stand firm in my decision and helped me navigate a difficult family situation. A lot has happened in the past year, and I wanted to share an update. After I refused to give Jake the money, things got worse before they got better. Jake and my parents ramped up their pressure campaign. They called and texted constantly, alternating between guilt-tripping and angry accusation. Extended family members I hadn't spoken to in years suddenly reached out to tell me how disappointed they were in my lack of family loyalty. The situation came to a head at a family gathering 3 months after my original post. Jake showed up uninvited. I had been avoiding family events and caused a scene, publicly berating me for my selfishness. He revealed to everyone present that he had stolen my college fund years ago, but argued that his current need outweighed his past mistakes. To my shock, many family members took his side. They saw his confession as a sign of growth and argued that I should forgive him. The event devolved into a heated argument, with me on one side and most of my family on the other. That night was a turning point for me. I realized that the dynamics in my family were fundamentally unhealthy. I decided to take a step back and focus on my own well-being. I went low contact with my family and started seeing a therapist to work through my feelings of guilt and resentment. Therapy was eye-opening. I began to recognize patterns of emotional manipulation that had been present throughout my childhood. I learned about concepts like family scapegoating and financial abuse. Most importantly, I started to understand that it wasn't my responsibility to fix Jake, manage my family's emotions. About 2 months into my self-imposed family exile, I received an unexpected call from my aunt, my mom's sister. She had been at the family gathering and had since done some reflection. She apologized for not standing up for me and shared that she had gone through something similar with her own brother years ago. My aunt became an unlikely ally. She started pushing back against the family narrative, pointing out the unfairness of their expectations of me. She also took it upon herself to do some digging into Jake's supposed can't-miss business opportunity. What she uncovered was alarming. Jake's new business idea was actually a multi-level marketing scheme that he had bought into. He had already convinced several family members to invest, using his charisma and their trust in him. My aunt shared her findings with the family, warning them about the potential financial risks. This revelation caused a shift in the family dynamics. Some relatives who had invested were angry at Jake for misleading them. Others were embarrassed that they had pressured me to invest in what turned out to be a scam. My parents, finally confronted with undeniable evidence of Jake's poor judgment, began to question their unconditional support of him. Jake, faced with the collapse of his scheme and the family's changing attitudes, finally hit his rock bottom. He moved out of our parents' house and, for the first time, took full responsibility for his action. He enrolled in a financial literacy course and found a steady job at a local factory. As for me, this period of distance allowed me to focus on my own growth. I received a major promotion at work and started mentoring young engineers. I also began volunteering with a nonprofit that provides financial education to underprivileged youth, sharing my story of working through college to inspire others. 6 months ago, Jake reached out to me directly. His message was different this time. No asks, no guilt trips. He simply apologized, acknowledging the pain he had caused me and expressing regret for his past action. He said he was committed to changing and asked for nothing more than a chance to prove it over time. I was cautious, but agreed to meet him for coffee. Our conversation was awkward at first, but became more genuine as we talked. Jake shared that he had started therapy too, working on his issues with impulse control and entitlement. He spoke about his job and his plans to slowly pay back the family members he had convinced to invest in his scheme. Since then, we've been slowly rebuilding our relationship. We meet for lunch every few weeks, and Jake has yet to ask me for any money or favors. He's been consistently working and living within his means for the first time in his adult life. My relationships with my parents have also evolved. After several frank discussions and family therapy sessions, they've begun to recognize the unfairness of their past treatment. They've apologized for pressuring me and have made efforts to acknowledge my achievements. It's a work in progress, but it's moving in a positive direction.